AR2, Ethan Bray. Our fourth official, Mark Roman. And tonight's center referee, Richard Wells. Let's meet tonight's starters. First for the visiting Hickory FC. In goal, number 1, Daniel Nicolosi. Number 5, Alvaro Bonet. Number 6, Ivan Marquez. Number 7, Ivan Morcilla. Number 10, Bautista Rossi Molina. Number 15, Bautista Schmidt. Number 20, Martin Kozak. Number 22, Ander Marticolina. Number 23, Charlie Naylor. Number 30, Jonas Straw. And number 79, Luke Munson. Hickory is coached by Carlos Rubio. He is assisted by Jorge Morales and William Van Hornby. And now, for your Port City FC. And goal, 0-0, Kevin Christensen. Number 3, Will Fatzinger. Number 5, Martin Rivera. Number 6, Ryan Lee. Number 7, Alex Walker. Number 8, Ethan Yates. Number 9, Hendrix Mota. Number 15, Grant Stewart. Number 17, Gabrielle Findley. Number 22, Jackson Minnesi. Number 26, John Mumboku. The head coach of Port City FC is Austin Marks. He is assisted by Dan Myers. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay as if able. Remove your hats and direct your attention to the flag as we honor America and those who protect our freedoms with the playing of our national anthem. Bought a Hickory FC? All you guys bought a Hickory FC? Thanks for
Hello and welcome here from Wilmington, North Carolina, as it's Port City FC versus Hickory FC in a USL League 2 clash between teams that are on opposite halves of the table right now. Port City on the bottom half, they sit second last, and Hickory FC second top. Hickory coming to the game with 15 points out of 7 matches played, 2 losses and 5 wins on the season, 16 goals for and 8 goals against. Their last match for Hickory FC was a 5-0 win against South Carolina United on the road last Saturday. As for Port City FC, we saw them here at UNCW Soccer Stadium. It was a 4-1 loss to Tobacco Road on Saturday as well. Hickory FC, the 2025 NPSL champions. They moved up to USL League 2, as most of the NPSL teams in the South Atlantic Division did, and now they find themselves here. In goal for Port City, Kevin Christensen today, and in goal for Hickory FC is Daniel McCloskey. Hickory FC in the red tops, white shorts, and black socks, going left to right on your screen. As for Port City in the coastal blue and tops and bottoms, while they got the white socks here today. Beautiful evening after the rains this morning. The clouds have gone away and the sun has come out. Hickory FC get us going. And the ball's played out of bounds almost immediately. So Hendrix Mota was over there for Port City. We've seen a couple of changes from the last starting lineup for Port City FC, as a couple of injuries as Sarpong out of the starting lineup. That brings Mota in, and same with Menenke and Muku. They're the center back, and Menenke's replacement is Ryan Lee up top as well. So a couple of new attacking players for Port City FC. Marquez for Hickory. Last time these two teams met, it was 3-1 in favor of Hickory FC. In the regular season, that is. The playoffs were a different story, as Hickory won that one with a clean sheet as well. Oching stole it back for Hickory. The captain of Naylor knocking it back and forth. Mari Carena now gets it over back to Naylor. Kozak played it over to Naylor, and it's now won back by Port City, and Yates, Ethan Yates, a new center back in the starting 11 for Port City. Finley gets trampled there in the midfield. And Hickory now on the break. Winning the race there was Fatzinger, got clipped on the way as well. As for Port City FC, we talked about how Hickory FC has got 15 points out of 7 games. Port City, the exact opposite, 7 games and 3 points. Knocking it back and forth now are Yates and Fatzinger. Now back to Mbuku. Rivera over on that far touchline had a lot of work cut out for him with Tobacco Road and Lucas. As Rivera wins a free kick early on. A lot of fans from Hickory making the trip down to the coast as well. Great fan base there. They play their home games at Lenore Ryan. I'm sure some of the fans that didn't make the travel are now here. Lee with the headed effort, and it's a goal! Port City FC. And it's the new man in the lineup, Ryan Lee. Almost Harry Kane-esque, as if you watch the England game today, scored from a very similar position. But Port City with a shock lead here in 3 minutes. It's just a beautifully lofted cross in, and Lee just finishes it off, and trying to get some revenge on Port City right now from the 2 results last year. And we haven't seen Port City lead very much this year, so interested to see how that will go now as the defensive shape for Port City. But Lee providing the spark. What a brilliantly headed ball in past Mikloshi. Port City FC's been in tight games. They've had 3 home games so far. A win 2-1 against Wake FC. That was their only win on the year. A 3-2 loss against North Carolina U23s, and that 4-1 result last time out. Yates intercepts that one there and decides to go back to Fatzinger. Fatzinger with the left boot knocks it over to the goal scorer of Lee. He thought he had Walker with him there, did not though. And now Hickory wins it back deep in the defensive half, but they go all the way back and cycle around. And got sandwiched there, did Mari Carena. As for Hickory FC, their 5 wins coming in a variety of different ways. All but the last 5-0 win against South Carolina United were by either 2 or 1 goal. So tight games so far on the year for Hickory FC. Their 2 losses coming against Appalachian FC 2-1 and 3-2 against the Charlotte Eagles. Now deep in the defensive half is Port City as Hickory have all the numbers forward. Hickory, a powerhouse team, to be honest, and they've had a good performance in their first year of USL League 2, and they've won a lot so far in terms of their history. Cross comes in, Christensen down. First time seeing Christensen at home, at least, here at UNCW Soccer Stadium since the slip that gave North Carolina FC the win 3-2. That was in the 90th minute, so looking for a good response here at home to shake off any ghosts that still haunt him of that moment. But Hickory FC playing in the Champions of Champions little tournament earlier this year. 4 of the semi-professional league winners of USL League 2, NPSL, and such. Christensen comes off his line. He'll let that one go out of play, and it'll be a goal kick for Port City. Hickory ended up losing to Vermont Green in that one. Vermont Green, of course, still in the USL League 2. That one's headed backwards. Chasing it down was Mota. Ends up getting cleared by Schmidt. Schmidt does find a fellow teammate. Marcio lost possession there from Manisi. Just a lot of bodies over there on the far side. Mota still pressuring as Hickory trying to get it out of their own end. They do get it cleared now. Schmidt with the clearance, and Hickory now on the break potentially. Rivera trying to chase it down. They've switched the field, and it goes over to Oching. Oching, Fatzinger there, gets a stomach to it and wins possession back for Port City as Yates plays it over to Fatzinger. Christensen just gets it cleared. Mota gets called there for a late lunging tackle in, and Hickory gets it started quickly. Not much of a delay for Hickory, especially on the restarts. I'm sure that we'll see that most of the night. Port City will be the team that automatically, with the lead and knowing that they're the underdogs in this game, will take longer on set plays or free kicks, that they can kind of drain some of the clock, even if they aren't leading. We'll see how that goes as the match continues. Schmidt now plays it out wide. Mota pressuring the center forward of Lee, all the way only probably about 45 yards from his own goal. Pretty tight and compact for Port City. as Manisi there and Rivera connect to try and steal it momentarily. Still with it is Hickory defensively. Rossi pressuring Umbuku. And now the ball is just bouncing back and forth on a yo-yo. Finally gets settled down here. Marquez. And now Hickory knock it all the way back to their center defensive pairing. And I'll switch it over on this near side. It's Munson as Yates won the headed effort, but back once again to Naylor. Inside to Mari Carena. Munson back to Mari Carena. Lee not worried about the three in the back for Hickory FC. As now stepping up Naylor. Little touch pass there inside. A lot of bodies for Port City. A lot of light blue in there. They do get it cleared momentarily. Finley now trying to get on the break. Sliding challenge. As Finley still with possession. Getting chased down. He's got a bunch of Hickory players around him. Still with possession as of right now. Sliding challenge in, and Hickory have won possession once again. Finley just held on to it for a millennium there. Kozak. Excuse me, that was Naylor. Now over to Bonet. Played it out wide. Back to Bonet. Naylor, a lot of touches for him so far tonight already. Bonet. Wide over to Schmidt. The three center backs for Hickory in there. 3-5-2, it looks like. I like to throw the outside wings forward to Hickory. The center defensive player there of Marquez gets on the ball. And it'll be a throw-in for Port City FC. Rivera once again taking his time. Now in the FIFA World Cup, they have a throw-in timer. For a certain amount of time, you can throw the ball in, but that won't be installed in the American football rules. So no limit on that when you're throwing the ball back in from the touchline. Mobuku there, battling with Kozak. Kozak still with possession. Rivera now there as well to help Mbuku. Mbuku dropped off, and Kozak ended up finding Schmidt. Schmidt across to Naylor. Naylor inside now to Oching. Oching just had to knock it back to Marquez, now with Naylor. Every single player on the pitch right now within a 30-yard span, it feels like. Port City is trying to sit in and soak up some pressure. 5 across the back now. Headed effort in, cleared away by Fatzinger. And they just dump it long to Port City. Lee going after it with Bonet, and it's headed out of bounds. So that'd be a throw-in for Port City to relieve some of the pressure that they've been under. Wind going right to left, pretty much almost parallel with the field. So it'll help Port City in this first half with clearances and such to get more distance behind it. Finley, pressure on the back, ends up finding Muku. Hickory a little bit more willing to throw some bodies forward and press all the way towards that far corner now with after a big switch crossed in as well towards League, and it just sat up in the air with 3 Hickory players there this time. A little bit more aware defensively when the cross came in, and they were well aware of it. Now they have a potential counter of their own with some numbers coming late for Hickory. Port City trying to get numbers back now. Driving in still with possession for Hickory. Pushed over. Oh, just couldn't connect the pass to Rossi. And Mbuku hits the turf here. See what has happened to him. Maybe something with his face. At elbow, it looks like he motioned there. So an interesting one as he's up now, though, nonetheless. Mbuku plays it off to Rivera. 2 Hickory players pressuring. And it was on that long ball, going back, looking at the replay, that Mbuku did get hit with a left elbow, but it was more of just a natural movement, so nothing to be had there. Just one of those football plays. Walker takes a tumble, and it'll be a free kick for Port City. So a quarter hour into this game, as Walker gets up hobbling, as he takes a little jog to get any of the lactic acid out there, as trying to get some adrenaline and blood flow into that area, as Port City do lead 1-0. They've got a lot of numbers forward now, courtesy of the head of Ryan Lee. Manisi playing it in with his right foot. Back post, no one was there. Mbuku was crashing late, still with Port City though. Second ball, 1. That one was a shot, and Mota was trying to say that it was a corner. Port City fans not happy, and it looked like the Hickory player took the brunt of that one off his ankle as he comes up hopping. He will carry on though, as now he's in a squatting position over there. He might not be able to continue. Tries once more. Maybe just one of those stinger moments on the far touchline for Hickory. Definitely in some pain over there for Hickory. And now Kozak. It's with player we've been talking about. Marquez over to Naylor. A lot of bodies in that one area. Oching inside. Marquez knocking along, but intercepted by Yates, who pushes it wide to Walker. Walker can only clear it halfway. Finley will try to do the rest himself. Gets chopped from behind. Still play on, though. Finley stays in possession somehow. Like a magician, gets tripped up once more. He's upset the referee didn't call anything. Referee didn't even have a second look there, as now Hickory on the break. It looked like they were going to go quick, but they slowed it down, did Oching. Rivera won it off. Over on that far side is Marcio. Marcio was the player that has been limping. He looks like he's a little bit better off now. It looked like it was his left ankle that he was dealing with. Mbuku plays it over to Manisi quick, almost inviting pressure. Walker now, 2 Hickory players on him quickly. Fatzinger plays it back to Christensen. He plays this one long, looking for Mota. Moto trying to win the second ball. He does. Big touch off the chest there by Schmidt. Walker plays it through to Mota, who holds it up for the moment. Now it's over to Walker inside once more. Back to Mota, knocking it around. It's with Stewart. Stewart decides to take it back to Yates. Mbuku. Now, a couple little feints there and plays it over to Rivera. Back to Mbuku. Now the lines for Hickory FC step up. They're keeping a tight 30-yard gap. Not many gaps in the midfield between lines for Hickory FC. Mota is still keeping possession to Yates. Manisi now. This is the best string of possession for Port City so far in the match. Now back to Walker. Again to Christensen. And they've been all around the pitch as well, have Port City. Now Christensen, a nice ball. He loves playing those cross-corner plays, as Rivera there took a tumble. Mota will be in on the goalkeeper there of Mikloshi. He came out and cleared it though, but only to Finley. Now Walker's still with it. Decides to cut back with it. It's a little bit more space now for Walker. He plays it inside down. Over to Lee, the goal scorer. Will take a crack again. And it did get a deflection this time. It'll be a corner kick for Port City. The first corner of the game for either team. And Manisi will take a slow jog over there as we approach the 20-minute mark here in Wilmington. And we take a look back at the collision. You just saw it as Mota went down off of a little two-arm shove. Definitely keep an eye on the extracurriculars as this game continues. Port City FC have gotten into a couple altercations so far this year. And we'll see how this game continues as Hickory FC still trail. In fact, same scoreline keeps on going this way it is. I'm sure we'll see a lot more chippiness as this game goes on. One plays it over to Naylor. Naylor having to expend a little bit extra energy there to make connection with that pass. Mari Carena with Marquez, back to Mari Carena. Now Oching. Oching back to Mari Carena. Now back to Bonet. Trying to switch the plane of possession quickly for Hickory FC, as that'll really disrupt the back five of Port City and the four players that sit in front of them. That one's clear. Long Christensen off the line. Christensen using all of the time he can there. Yates in a little bit of a sticky situation. Oching was on him tight and quickly, and Oching wins it back. Stewart, though, if not for him, Oching would have had a good look at a cross, potentially driving in towards the 18. But Stewart's clearance goes all the way to Mota. Lee trying to run onto it. Naylor was there, though, and deflects it back to Schmidt. And now Hickory with possession right around midfield once again as Mari Carena knocks it back to Schmidt. Schmidt telling Mari Carena to get out of the passing lane there. And if you're a favorite in a game like this, frustration's definitely not prevalent yet, but if it continues like this, maybe for Hickory FC. They're composed right now, are the visitors. There's Marcio. It's all the way back to Schmidt. Dinked over the top, looking for Marcio. Manisi was there. Marcio slipped on the end around there after the play was over. Rivera being pressured heavily by Kozak. Rivera still with it somehow. And the advantage was done and dusted. So it's a free kick for Port City FC. Finley was looking to take it quick, but decides Mbuku would be the better taker of this set play. So about halfway through this first half, if we were at the World Cup right now, which we are not, it would be the hydration break, and we'd be heading to a TV timeout. Mota is back, facing the goal that he's trying to go towards. Played over to Fatzinger. Fatzinger, a good touch to disrupt the two attacking Hickory players. Lee was offsides. Finley trying to chase it down. Just went over the touchline over on the far side. And Schmidt playing it over to Bonet. Inside to Marquez. Marquez then finds Naylor once again. A lot of touches for those 3 and 4 players with Marquez checking back usually. three center backs have just been knocking it between themselves so far, and then they find one of the outside backs every now and then. Now back to Schmidt. And we'll see it come over to Naylor, I'm sure, here in a second, unless he plays it long. He did go back inside. It did find its way to Naylor eventually. They used that extra pass inside to try and move the lines of Port City. Munson. Oching. Three players on the back line right now of Port City. Big sliding challenge in by Mota. Kind of disrupted the passing sequence they had there, but not too much, as Mari Carena finds Munson. Munson, though, had two Port City players quickly around him. Manisi able to just knock it out of the zone. Still pressure, though, as Marquez right on the attacking side of the half circle. Now inside to Oching. Out wide, once again to Munson. Mari Carena driving inside. A couple of direct runs from Hickory FC. Christensen had to be aware there. But you saw both the Hickory players start to make their run. And honestly, it may have been better if only one of them went, in terms of Marcio and Rossi, and then the other checked back. I think that all the Port City defenders would have just ran with the player that was running the box. So maybe a little bit of coaching point there for Hickory FC. Christensen, a little bit of games here, as Rossi wasn't pressuring too heavily, so it's in the laws of the game. Rossi now tight on Christensen. Has to give him a step, says Rossi. I'm sure we'll see a lot more of that as this game keeps on ticking. Stewart in a mad fight over there. Jerseys being pulled all over the place. It ends up being with now Mikloshi. And a little bit of space now. Munson to Oching. Fatzinger, actually Yates was on top of it though. Walker, as Munson was pressing back. Now he is there. Oching had to play out of the defensive. No one inside for Finley to find. Port City, a lot of sustained defensive work here. Got to find a valve defensively. Wide open space now for Munson to try and get into. Walker was late to recover there. Munson crossing, and Buku got a little bit of a help to get to that ball quicker. And he headed it out of play. So it's first corner of the game for Hickory. And the first real attempt that we've seen Hickory have all day. It's been pretty limited in terms of space in the final third. Corner taken here by Kozak. The righty with a short run up now, takes a couple steps back. Sun in the eyes of Christensen right now. In net for Port City. Can Hickory use that to their advantage? Christensen gets his hands to it nonetheless. And now a little bit of a breakout valve. If Manisi can move fast enough, Finley towards his right. He's got a player pressuring behind him of Oching. It looked like Manisi was already stumbling before a little help from Oching, so not surprised by the no call there. And Manisi tracking back. Back to Naylor. A lot of touches on this near side. He'll try to find Marcio. Marcio couldn't get to it though, and throw in for Port City and Rivera. First signs of frustrations for Hickory, as over on that far side, Marcio just knocked the ball into the brick wall over there. And when you're 29 minutes into a game, that might be the case. If you're down 1-0, it's out of play. Port City throwing. And every point matters, of course. But when you look at it, Appalachian FC, who Hickory lost 2-1 to, a couple of matches ago, have 17 points, but 9 games played, so less points per match. So Hickory know they need to get a result out of one of the next 2 matches that they have in hand. So Nisi just blasts that into the next zip code. And you need to be second if you want to make the playoffs in the USL League 2. Hickory think that they can make a deep run, and I think they can as well. You know, with the performance against the defending USL2 champions, Vermont Green, I think they definitely have the potential if they can make it to that playoffs. You either be a division winner or you beat out the South Central second place team if you finish second on a base off a higher points per game. But if you finish third, then your season is over nonetheless. Still a lot of time left in this match, though, for Hickory to get the 3 points they need to take over sole possession, firmly, you might say, of that position. Schmidt. Still with Schmidt from the center back position. Mbuku just gets a touch on it, allows Fatzinger to get a solid clearance away. Still throwing in the final third for Hickory now. Once again, we go all the way back. Bonet over to Naylor. Naylor taking a couple touches forward, which we've seen a lot of today. Mari Carrena. Inside offsides was the Hickory player. Flag went up immediately. Hickory fans in attendance, I guess, maybe not aware that it was offsides or still wanted to celebrate. That's the first moment that they've been able to celebrate. So I wouldn't blame them for celebrating. But the flag went up immediately. Decisive decision by the AR on the near side. Christensen now clears it with Finley. And the breeze now almost left to right diagonal from near side to far side. So the breeze switching direction, as it so often does here in Wilmington. As Marquez plays it over to Oching. Pressured there by Stewart. Oching inside. Cleared away by Fatzinger. So yeah, from the left side and near corner to the right sided far corner is where the breeze is right now. This moment in time, a little bit more difficult for Port City to get a lofted clearance, as it'll get caught up in the wind. Naylor. Once more, space to dribble into. Oching tight to him once more. Munson started making the run. Oching then passed it off to Mari Carrena. Inside, Mari Carrena will still go for it. Tried to give and go there with Rossi. Rossi once again tight on Christensen. Port City's keeping in their shape, though, and tight. Like a trash compactor right now, as they have yet to really extend themselves, even whenever Christensen has the ball, which is why Hickory have won it back almost immediately. Now, once again, more pressure from Hickory. Rivera out there for Port City. It's now switched back towards the middle by Marquez. Munson, who had the cross that found the one good chance so far for Hickory. Bonet, maybe thinking about an attempt there. He was almost only 25 yards away from goal, was the center back. And Marquez knocks it out on Minisi. It's going to be another corner for Hickory. So once again, the sun in the eyes of Christensen wasn't a problem the first time, as he came out and collected right on his 6-yard box. We'll see what the decision is this time for Hickory FC and Kozak. Oching to Kozak's left. Kozak plays it in. Oh, Christensen missed that one. Marquez with it at the top of the box. But it was cleared away by Mbuku nonetheless. Now he's trying to play defense on a cross. Still in the box and headed. Oh, just wide there by Hickory FC. First shot attempt for them. As very similar to the goal we saw. Just a little bit more bodies in the box, but a beautifully outside of the foot crossed. And it was Bonnet who got his head to it, just couldn't direct it enough. Almost flicked it on too much. Christensen with a breath there. And now back to Christensen. He caught him off. Oh, he just barely got the ball there. Another moment where Christensen almost conceded off of a back pass. Now Rivera gets tripped up, and it's going to be the first yellow of the game to Marquez. And that was dangerous from Christensen. It looked like Fatzinger may have had the better line on that, but he called it off and took it with determination. It looked like getting a touch right before did Christensen. Rossi's up now. So first yellow of the game. And it's to a Hickory FC player in the 35th minute. Rivera. Rossi still walking off the challenge there from Christensen. Finley over to Mota. Mota driving inside. Just cuts it inside to Walker, who tried to play it back to Mota. And now Walker with a sliding challenge. Advantage, says the referee. That may come back for a yellow. We saw a yellow just be given. It looks like there will be no caution. As he waves on the throw and does the center referee. It was a little reckless from Walker there. Got to be careful. Bonnet over to Naylor once again. And this defensive work for Port City starting to wear on them in the final 10 minutes of the half. I mean, these are the times that Hickory is obviously going to want to strike. Bonnet, as the ball spins back to Lee, though. Bonnet gets a touch on it, plays it back to Mikloshi. Over to Bonnet. Inside to Marquez. Marquez looking for help. He's been the creative player for them along the whole pitch. Oching. Mari Carrena moving to left flank, right flank, central, just to get a touch on it. Naylor just sitting on the ball like a chicken on its egg for a couple of seconds there. Nothing doing, no pressure from Port City. Now they've found a little space in tight. Fatzinger was knocking around with the body inside. It looked like just a collision there as Marquez knocks it back to Naylor once more. Marcillo was in on it again. He's been knocked around a couple times. But it looked like the run from Marcillo just ended up being in the path of where Fatzinger was going as well. Everyone can have their own opinion on it for sure. But the referee made his decision, and that's the most important decision on the field. It's back to Schmidt. Inside Oching. Oching had 3 Port City players around him. Marquez with a little bit of space after they all clumped over on that one side. Headed effort. Christensen didn't have to do anything for that one. As Rossi heads it away from the goal, and 7 minutes left in this first half, plus whatever stoppage time there will be. Not sure there will be much added on. Hasn't really been any stoppages here in this first half. Wind died down just a little bit, but that one just didn't have anything really behind it as it just stopped on center field there. It's still with Port City, though. Lee, the goal scorer, the lone of the game. Mari Corena does find Rossi here. Marcio was back post with a little bit of space. First time he'd seen a little bit of space, but couldn't get the cross away. Could Rossi. Lee takes a tumble there. Has to get up now defensively. Stewart pressuring Rossi and takes a tumble from behind, and it's going to be a free kick for Hickory FC. Schmidt played it out wide. Bonet was inside. 3 light blue shirts were there. Rivera still with it for Port City. Gets clipped by Bonet. Rivera not happy with that at all. Marquez then now is on the floor as well. Interesting to see what happened there. Marquez looked like he got knocked up a little bit before that play was even over. So we'll see if he is okay. Marquez on a yellow tonight for Hickory FC. And a good break for Port City to grab some water. Short-lived, though, as Marquez up now. If he can make it 5 more minutes, it would be a free substitution window for Hickory. So I'm sure the head coach of Carlos Rubio Garcia would like that immensely, to not have to use a window here. And Buku over to Fatzinger. Fatzinger pressured from Rossi. Finley still with possession, gets taken away there though by Schmidt. Marquez knocks it away before Stewart can get a flying leg onto it as he came in fast, and now Hickory still with a lot of bodies around it. Walker saying it was out on Oching, but then Oching knocked it back out on him. So thrown for Hickory, but so far it's at least 2 to 3 light blue jerseys around any red jersey that has possession of the ball within 30 yards of the goal. And that's kind of the game plan, it seems like, from Port City right now. Marquez knocks it over to Mari Corena. Mari Corena looking for the through there to Munson. 3 minutes left here in the first half as Naylor taking some touches. Center back getting a lot of work today as well. I'm sure that the fatigue for them is not on the lower end as well. Bonet inside to Oching, but the turn from Oching unsuccessful as Stewart was there. Walker now steps out wide to Munson. Oching gets pressured by Finley. Only players that aren't really being pressured from Hickory are the center backs right now. Someone is always stepping on every other player. As you see, Mbuku steps up here, and he gets a left leg there from his big frame on Rossi, and now Finley trying to find Rivera, who's got a little bit of space over on the far touchline. And the center backs haven't really played much defense today for Hickory, but they are still on top of the game. Schmidt wins it back, and a big switch for Oching now. Port City still with numbers forward. They have to get back. But here's Hickory on the break. Oching, finally some space for him. Marcio, as Mbuku, not the player you necessarily want to step out to him there. Rivera was so stepped high. But Mbuku blocks the cross in. It goes all the way back to Marquez. Over now to Munson, right on the top of the 18. on the corner from Naylor. Naylor, don't forget, the right center back all the way up there. Munson, though, with a little bit of space to find a cross in. It's right on the doorstep for Hickory, and it's Walker who ends up clearing it for Port City. Brilliant touch by the ball kid over there. And Hickory get it restarted quickly. Rivera, though, was fast there on the close down to Kozak. Kozak gives it away now. Mbuku found Lee. Lee just running towards his own goal now. Found Yates. Looks like Lee connected with Munson as Munson hit the turf. You saw her on this near touchline. Naylor and Lee with a little bit of shoulder checking. Sure, that won't be the end of that. Now Minisi wins it back. It's a 3-on-3. Minisi just dinks it over, trying to get overhead of Bonet. Couldn't there. Minisi with a little bit of too much shoulder in Marquez. And a little bit of talk back, I think, maybe results in him getting a yellow card. So now Marquez and Minisi both on yellows. As we've hit 45 minutes, we'll see how much added time there is. It's up to the referee's discretion now, excuse me. And Munson on this near touchline. Back to Oching. Mari Carrena. A couple of Port City players around him, but found a connection out wide. Kozak. Kozak to Bonet. Bonet with a switch as now they've flipped the field once again. Oching. Big battles inside the 18 as Stewart, we were watching that. I was keeping an eye on that one. He fell down a little bit easily there, and oh, he stayed on the ground, so the referee said no more of that. I thought it was a little bit soft, the way he kind of flopped to the ground, to be honest. And he gets punished for his fishing, where he didn't catch anything. As Rossi was the one that was whistled there. And I'm sure with the replay there, hard to argue there. Naylor wanted a little bit of knock in the back. Goes up to win the header there. Mbuku clears it. Referee looks at his watch, puts his whistle up to his mouth, and that's the end of the first half. With 45 minutes to play here, Port City FC on for the shock result as they lead 1-0. Hickory, frustration grows, and I'm sure it will grow even more during the halftime break. We'll be back here for more action here shortly after the halftime break at UNCW Soccer Stadium. Stay with us here on USL League 2 and Sports Engine Play. I'm Zachary Buttright. Thanks for tuning in here. Evening. Welcome back here to Wilmington at UNCW Soccer Stadium. It's the start of the second half between Port City FC and the light blue tops and bottoms and the White Sox going left to right now as Hickory FC in the red jerseys, white shorts. And the Black Sox right to left. So a couple of substitutes at halftime for Port City FC. It's going to be Raquan Bryant up top as he takes off the goal scorer of Ryan Lee. It looks like the only change at halftime for the hosts. As for Hickory FC, checking their lineup really quickly. They have one new player out there of number 25, Adrian Aguilar. For Hickory. As he replaced, it looked like Marquez. So not a surprise to see Marquez come at halftime. We were talking about how he's on a yellow and picked up a little bit of a knock. So not surprising in there. Sun in the eyes of McCloskey, excuse me, in goal for Hickory. And once again, we see a lot of pressure already on this left side of the field. Our heads were turned to the right most of the first half. They'll be turned mostly to the left here in the second. Still Munson over on the far side, playing it to Naylor. Naylor, a lot of touches in the first half. He crosses in and low. Cleared away there by Mbuku, who got low. Actually, excuse me, that was not Mbuku. That was a new center back for Port City. We'll get you that here in a second as Hickory still on attack. Kozak plays it back to Bonnet. Over to Naylor. It was Yates that came off for Port City. Dylan Owana Ajiman, the center back, long range effort. Christensen not worried about that one. So Ajiman for Port City FC. So the two subs for Port City and one for Hickory at halftime. Christensen. The breeze a little bit right to left now, but not anything substantial enough to impact the flight of the ball right now as Bonnet pressuring that one. Menisi scrambling with Aguilar, and Menisi gets a free kick for the boys in blue. It was a first half header that shocked Hickory within 3 minutes, and since then it's been all Hickory. Not many shots, but a couple of chances, but mostly good defensive work from Port City. We'll see how the fatigue of that really carries into the second half. Not surprised to see a center back change for the 5-player back line of Port City from head coach Austin Martz. Naylor driving forward, finding Munson. Go back here from Walker, but Munson was well aware of that and stayed with it now. Mari Carrena plays it over to Munson after he won it back. Munson cutting inside, now chopping outside. Walker sliding, still with Munson right now. Cross comes in, it's in the air, and Christensen able to collect it like the wisp of the breeze there. Long ball played there by Christensen, getting more distance now. Mari Carrena to Schmidt. Schmidt out wide now to Kozak. Kozak driving inside, might take this himself. He does, shot, Christensen parries away, and Walker takes the touch, settles it down over to Ajiman, who tries to get it cleared. Bryant with a sliding challenge on Naylor there, and it ends up in the possession of Hickory FC. Kozak has the ball on his soul there, ends up finding Munson. It got through Finley there. Aguilar. Time to just think about what he wants to do there. In towards the box, and oh, little scuffed there from Rivera, but he ends up recovering, gets the clearance. Also new player on of Tate Asante for Hickory FC, replacing Marcio. That was another halftime substitution, I'm pretty sure, for Hickory. Marcio, the other one of the two players for Hickory that picked up a little bit of a twitch on the ankle. So that is why he probably got pulled early. Asante now pressuring Fatzinger. Walker running back towards it. Same with Munson. And it's Port City now with some numbers potentially going forward. Finley just couldn't keep possession on his right foot, though. Just crept away from him like a garden hose gaining water pressure. The ball just tracked away from the player there, and now Hickory are on the run themselves. Munson couldn't get to that one, and now the slow stroll by Ajiman over to the ball. All the way back to Bonet. Bonet across to Schmidt. Schmidt dinked it over to Munson, and Munson somehow just stumbled away there. Hickory have been flustered tonight, but Hickory still with the prowess to go score anytime. You know, definitely a lot in that program over there in the mountains of North Carolina. They brought their whole reserve squad as well, and not a whole squad, but some reserve players and their whole staff as well. Quite a well-run organization over there at Hickory. Mota sliding, challenging. Marty Carrena stayed with possession, though, as he stayed with it. Now it's Oching. Pushed over to Aguilar. Aguilar back to Oching. Three Port City players around him right now. Oching still with it, though. He plays it out wide. Space for Kozak. Kozak goes back to Bonet. Bonet with Finley on his back and Bryant in front of him. There he found Oching. Bonet out of position now, but Oching was covering there and gets Finley out of possession. Now Oching back wide to Kozak, but Martin read that one there, like chapter 1 of The Great Gatsby. And it'll be a throw-in for Hickory FC. And Mbuku gets called there, wrapped up Rossi in the edge of the box there, says the referee. Rossi was trying to get that to transition into the 18-yard box. Yellow card for Mbuku. And Rossi, who's been brought down a couple times tonight already, as Naylor and Fatzinger with a little bit of a conversation right on the goal mouth. So 3 on the wall for Port City. It is Kozak over the ball. Aguilar right at the top of the box. Walker, the first player there. This one might be dumped back post. A lot of red shirts back post, though. Christensen has to be aware to maybe get a punch here. Kozak hits this one right into the leg of Manisi. Didn't get past the wall. And Mota had some choice words for Kozak there as he stared him down going towards the corner. Finley back with Munson and Schmidt. McCloskey, not much to do tonight. As he stands halfway between midfield and his goal mouth. Headed off the post there by Hickory FC, and it was once again Bonet gets his head to a cross. But for the second time, he doesn't find the netting. Fatzinger ends up clearing it halfway. Still Oching, though. Numbers for Hickory coming in late. Back post as well. And Buku lets the turn. Shot deflected. Christensen couldn't save it out. Or save it before it went out for a corner. So it's going to be a corner kick for Hickory FC. So corner to be taken over on the far side. Oching there once again, like we've seen. Kozak to take the corner with the right boot to outswing it. Rossi on Christensen again. This one's hit to Bonet once more. Front post this time. And that's one of the tougher headers to complete as well. You know, you always want to try and be in between the sticks if you're trying to make contact with your head. Bonet, though, was about 10 feet to the right of the near post. You could say 10 feet past the near post, and always tough time there to deflect there. Bonet, once again, gets undercut a little bit there, but it's still with Hickory FC. Bonet not happy, but he's gotten his head onto the last couple of balls that have been in the air, either off corner or goal kicks. Asante took a tumble there, stepping towards the ball with Schmidt. He won it for a moment. There's like 6 players over in this scramble. Someone's on the floor. It's Manisi, and it's just a mad scramble. Asante ends up coming with it. Now Mbuku sliding and knocking in Sante in a heap to the floor. And that was just a mad flurry of feet and bodies. I'm sure both teams are glad that scramble is over. Mari Carena over to Naylor. Naylor, who hasn't decided to take an aim for tonight. He decided to call his own number there, and he wasn't, but only a couple of digits off from the right number there. Christensen, though, with another goal kick now. Bryant gets out jumped there by Naylor. Fatzinger putting it back into the mixer. Manisi, possession of it, able to control it down. Played it back to Stewart, now over and wide to Walker, back to Stewart. Pressured by Asante. Asante's been knocked around already in his 13 minutes in the second half. Finley got pulled down there by Mari Carena, and it'll be a free kick for Port City, where they'll look to draw as much as they can out of each blow the whistle from the referee. Now 2 players from Hickory, as Rossi there took a tumble from Mbuku. Christensen gets rid of it now, plays it long over to Mota. Bonet was there. Manisi off the chest calmly and coolly settles that one down. Now a little bit of space himself. Out wide to Ajiman. Numbers forward for Port City now. Have to be careful if they do give up possession. Finley hits that one to the next soccer field, as that one really never had a chance. It was always rising. But the first shot of the second half, and the first shot since the headed effort from Lee that went into the back of the net. I mean, Hickory's done a good job of keeping Port City from posing any threat, but still look to break the deadlock on their own end and tie the game up. This may be a good opportunity here as Rossi had possession, just bobbled it though. He got stuck behind his feet. And Mbuku has no help right now. It's only him in the corner flag. Rossi still tightly contesting him. Now help from Mota, and it's Hickory who've won it back as Kozak played it around, and a couple of scramble of bodies there. Hitting the turf was Marty Carrena. Mota trying to push it by Bonet, but Bonet has been a brick wall tonight, either in the air or on the floor. Bryant pushing it by. It didn't work the first time, and it's not going to work the second either. Bryant with another big frame, though, up front for Port City. So if that's what you're looking for, size, to try and hold up the ball, that is definitely what head coach Austin Martz is looking for from Bryant. Now a little direct as Aguilar drives in. Haven't seen this much so far in the second half for Hickory. Bryant with Schmidt on his back only gets it over to Marty Carrena, though. Oching finds inside to Asante. Asante out wide now. Played on the floor and cleared away by Fatzinger. A lot of Port City bodies in the box there. 7 to be exact. That's light blue in numbers defensively. Bryant has a chance to go on a break here if he can pick up the speed here. He'll take it to the corner. Rivera to his outside. Bryant got it stuck under his feet there a little bit, but was able to peel it off, and wow. It's cleared out, and AR had his flag just absolutely smashed. So he'll put it back together. Not very often you see the linesman's flag take a clattering like that. Nonetheless, we get back to action here as we're just past the hour mark, creeping into an hour and 2 minutes. Rivera gets the handball called there on Schmidt. And it's a chance for Port City. A very threatening offensive free kick. This is the first one of the night for them. And they've got some size if they want to throw it forward. And Mbuku coming up, Brian in the box. They chose for Ajiman to take the free kick. Another player not in the starting 11 for Port City that we've seen a lot of is Jack Steele. Not on the roster tonight. A big creative player in the midfield and on set plays as well with his deliveries. So we'll see what the roster that's out there right now, who's played well so far for Port City. Ajiman with his right foot plays it on the ground, cleared away by Hickory, and it's going to be another corner kick, only the second of the game for Port City. All the Hickory players right on the 18 or on the outside, only Stewart right at midfield, and then Christensen, of course. Ajiman playing it in, headed away there by Naylor. Finley had to win that header there, and two Hickory players knocked it into each other, still with possession though. Oching. Minisi touching it back with a running of Ajiman here. Ajiman back post, no one was there. Walker will still have possession for Port City FC. First time we've really seen Mikloshi have to do any defensive setting or work towards his back line to get them set in a position, and a sliding challenge in there from Walker gets fouled, or gets called foul, as he receives a yellow as well on Aguilar. And Walker definitely took some contact there to Aguilar. Glad to see Aguilar get up. So a couple subs from both teams here. It's the end of the night for Marty Carrena and Munson. It's a new player on for Port City as Mota comes off. Robert Dighan. First action of the game will be a foul on Rivera, and it's going to be a free kick for Port City of Reeves Cates. Excuse me, it was actually Caden Smith. So Smith comes on for Mota for Port City. Dighan on for Hickory. And another sub as well, which we'll give you here in a second. Kozak inside, referee, they were looking for a shout, were Hickory, for a penalty for the fresh legs of Dighan. Robbie Dighan. And the new player on for Hickory was number 14, Leonardo Souza. Or Souza. So it's over to Souza. Souza back to Oching. All the Port City players right in that one vicinity. Walker now on a yellow. Plays it back to Ajiman. And it's off of Oching for another goal kick for Port City. And we'll take a look at the recent plays there. As Bryant went up for that one. Minisi won the second ball off Kozak, and no Port City player was there to recover that through ball attempt from Minisi. More of just a relief of pressure. Kozak now central as Dighan has gone out wide. Naylor. It's picked off there by Brian, and Minisi will go back. Now pressing quick as well. It's Lucas Hazi Olochi. So another change for them. Number 5 of the day for Hickory as they try to get back into this game and tie it up. Lucas Hazi, the new center forward, coming on for Rossi. Dinghan, Robbie Dinghan now, driving against Rivera. He's got 2 players, gets across away, but nothing going on the other end of it. As Rivera just looked to dink it long. No one was there for Port City. One went back to Mikloshi. Kozak, more of a creator role in the center portion of the pitch. You can tell there's a little bit of fatigue from Port City now. Not as fast of steps. Their work rate in terms of closing down a little bit less, but still high, as they know they need to do that to keep the lead that they possess right now. It's really those 3 center midfielder players. Asante Christensen off his line, misses the punch, back post there for Hickory. Oh, what a save by Christensen as he got up and over. Souza was there with a good effort, but Christensen flew across like Superman. And now Bryant trying to get it clear, gets a little help from behind, and it relieves the pressure for Port City. Bryant and now Kozak get a little bit of confrontational. Referee there to break it up quickly though. There's a great chance. Christensen starts it with the missed punch out, but he relieves it after that. Being a goalkeeper myself, the best saves you've always had were off your own mistakes. Christensen pleased with that one for sure. And keeps this game 1-0. Oching. Inside to Asante. Port City making 3 subs already. Hickory already using their 5 for the game. Robbie Dingen has been creative since he's come on and had a good chance. He created that cross moment there. Now Kozak will play towards the corner where Oching is. This is a little bit new attacking systematically for Hickory. As a little shove in the back, it looked like, to Ajiman. Gets cleared though, and it's a throw in for Hickory FC. We're into the 70th minute now. 20 minutes remain here for Hickory to find the equalizer, if they want to find the winner as well. But Port City defending like their lives depend on it right now. That one will roll, trying to chase it down with fresh legs is Robbie Dingan. He does get a sliding challenge in there. It went out for a throw instead of a corner or a goal kick. So good work there. Finley with a little pushing and shoving, of course. That's obviously going to pick up as the game goes on. Both these teams getting a little bit more choppy and chippy. You see Bryant battling there with Bonnet. Bryant there gets it. It's blocked away by Kozak, and a big sliding challenge for both players. And Smith ends up with it for Port City. Christensen will be pressed, though, by Hazy. Polochi's been pressuring for Hickory since coming on. Bonnet. Picked off against by Rivera. Schmidt. Not much of him in this second half so far. Just a little bit of defensive work. Finley trying to beat the other 17 on the pitch. There. He did, but it got help to knock it back to Manisi, but not before Hickory once again. Like the tick of a clock, Hickory have won it back and are attacking. It's going to be another corner kick for Hickory. And you've almost counted on that attack from Hickory winning it back after they lose it. Like you can count on the flip of a coin resulting in heads or tails. So it'll be another corner kick here. In the 73rd minute for Hickory FC. Oching a little bit farther out wide this time. This one near post again, like the last corner kick we saw. Goes back now to Souza. Cross. Christensen lets it settle. Pressure there by Olachi. Christensen clears it long. Smith and Naylor were just handsy with each other, so nothing that neither one did that was really extracurricular. Schmidt playing it directly diagonal to Oching. Oching with a couple options. Back post is Asante wide open. Now Smith covering him. Oh, and it's a shot that is not found the mark by Kozak. Asante was in a different zip code, though. Back post, if they would have been able to find him. Smith will flick this on to Bryant. Bryant chasing it down. Bonnet there as well. It's McCloskey who had to get to it. Finley now has a chance for a long-range effort. McCloskey's still there, still bubbling around. He ends up getting it pushed to Schmidt. And McCloskey had a heart-in-mouth moment there. And for all the Hickory fans as well, as he was out of his net some 30 yards. Ching on the floor right now. In some pain, Finley gets knocked to the floor, and it'll be a free kick for Port City. Now time to check on Ching for the center referee. And only a quarter hour remains now here in Wilmington, as Port City still hold the 1-0 lead, courtesy of Ryan Lee. This will provide a little bit of a water break for both of these teams, but it is going to be mostly benefited by the hosts. Still 2 more subs available for Port City if they want, and we're going to see another substitution from Hickory. As there's a fair amount of subs that you can make here in the USL2. As we wait on Ching here, we'll take a look back at the goal that separates us here in the game so far. Scored in the 3rd minute by Ryan Lee. That's the difference right now in the match. It was just an early cross, and Lee with some space and finds the bottom corner. Will that be the game winner? We'll find out here in the next 14 or so minutes plus stoppage time. Ching still on the ground. And it's been physical out there, especially later in the second half. So Ching will be lifted up by teammates here of Bonet and Lucas Hazi. As new player on replacing him takes the pitch for the first time. Tonight it's going to be number 99, James Lane. So Lane has the goal as center forward. Create a magical moment. Substitution for Port City as well. Another defensive sub as Finley comes off for a more defensively minded player. And number 4 of Josh Sayer. Shot by Smith there. Hit the netting in front of the scoreboard. And an interesting little change of the captaincy band for Hickory. Naylor, who's got possession now, has given it up to Lucas Hazy. As the pass there from Naylor, not the one that he wanted. A very upset Smith, just pushing it by Schmidt. And Smith somehow still has it. Has found Bryant inside. Bryant gets it caught up on his feet once more. Now it's back post with Souza. Souza gets it by Walker. Port City with a couple numbers forward. Hazi, center forward, wearing the captain's band for Hickory FC, the veteran. Get it restarted quickly to Hickory FC. Now, urgency, as they know the clock is definitely ticking down now. The pressure starts to ramp up and up and up until you reach the 50th floor of the Willis Tower in Chicago. Quickly restarted there by Hickory. Schmidt crossing it in. Looking for Hazy. Fatzinger does get ahead to it first. Walker just booms that one. And Walker, after clearing that one out of bounds, will come up with a cramp. And the captain for Hickory doing the stretching for him as well. So Walker will hobble and go down again. He didn't get much of a stretch there. The Port City will have to play it with 10 right now. It looks like Caleb Powell will come on for him, but right now Port City got to defend this attack. Hazy was flying in like a scorpion, still attacking. Crossed in once again. Lots of bodies in there. Rivera gets it half cleared. Schmidt there with just kind of a hack at it that went out of bounds. And Walker ended up he did come back to play some defense. The courage there defensively for him, and then hits the turf again. So that's probably going to be the end of the night for Walker, who's been cramping hard the past couple of minutes. Caleb Powell, who's brought a spark off the bench a couple of times this year. Referee is saying for the subs to come on, or the sub of Powell as Walker went off the end line. So Powell is now your new left winger. I thought the referee was saying he called him on. Yeah, and there was the fourth official, I think. Maybe some confusion there. I'm not sure what that was all about. Now the fourth official telling head coach Carlos Rubio Garcia to get back into his coaching area. Manisi, who's the captain for Port City, the workhorse in the midfield tonight defensively, as Powell has to fall into formation. There's 9 minutes left here in Wilmington. A couple other games tonight for USL2 Action here in the South Atlantic Division. Game starting at 7, so still a little bit behind us here at the 6:30 kickoff. Lane gets a cross in. Hazy is there, and Buku there, shooting it for Christensen. And he got to it in a hurry, as he needed to. Christensen booms it long. The wind, not much of a factor right now. Oh, and Naylor just took a tumble. It was the sniper from up above, as Bryant now has Smith inside. Bryant takes it himself, and oh, he might feel sour about that one when he watches the film back with Smith wide open on the PK spot. But nonetheless, Port City need to get numbers back now defensively, as Hickory have numbers throwing forward. There's 6 players on the defensive line for Port City naturally, not even like just defensively. Rivera tried to head it back to Christensen, but it's going to be a corner kick now for Hickory, as Haley tries to get it set up quickly for the visitors. Kozak now hit the in-swinger with the right boot here. Try and get the little bit of magical touch. Some messy magic from last night from his hat trick against Algeria. Finds the headed effort. Oh, it's just headed back by Hazy towards Kozak. It's in there again. Christensen does get a punch this time. And it was offsides, was Kozak. He never got back into an onside position from the corner kick. Christensen making sure he takes his time to grab the ball. Grabs the ball that's the furthest away. I mean, not much Hazy could do on that chance there, as his body was just contorted all sorts of ways. With a lot of light blue jerseys around him. Bryant battling. Bryant's had the most success against Bonet tonight, but Bonet won it off the ground this time instead of out of the air. Schmidt plays it over to Naylor. Naylor with Souza out wide. He does find Souza. Running in front of Souza's Lane now. Lane to his right. Souza choosing to cross it. Beautiful sliding challenge from Powell, as he came sliding in from Myrtle Beach to Wilmington. The substitute making his impact known defensively so far. Schmidt with his left will cross this one in. 4 light blue jerseys there. Ends up with Lane, it looks like. Lane shot, bounced around. Christensen popped up from his set, as all the Port City players there get that one deflected out for another corner. Kozak as nearing double digits on their corner kick tallies, especially in the second half. Kozak, back post. Christensen came and got caught almost in no man's land. Mbuku, though, was there to save the day. Lane out there, pressured by Powell. Lane cuts it towards the end line. Still Powell on his shoulder. And it's in there. 3 Hickory players are around there. As he took a tumble again. Did Naylor, and it's a penalty! And ecstatic is Dighan. As we'll take a look back as the referee made the decision there. Naylor. And it was off the hand of Manisi. So Hickory, not many great chances on goal tonight. To bulge the nylon behind Christensen. This being the most clear cut. And it's going to be Martin Kozak to try and equalize in the 87th minute now. Christensen done everything right tonight just to be punished with a penalty. Kozak to equalize. He does, down the middle. Goal! Hickory FC as the deadlock has been broken. The lock has been cracked, and the Hickory fans in attendance getting some celebration in. And Powell got knocked down, and it's going to be a yellow there for Souza, as now the festivities break out. Bonet not happy. Bonet might get his name in the book as well. I know Souza will end up there. And for Hickory FC, in the 87th minute, 84 minutes after the opening goal of the game, now find themselves level. Now they can go and get a winner for Hickory FC if they want. And head referee is going to go talk to one of the coaching staffs who gets booked for Port City. Port City, no attacking prowess in the game other than the one goal they've scored, so it's all Hickory now to go and take the game from Port City. It's one of those unfortunate moments where your hand just gets caught up, but that's how it goes. Fatzinger clears it. Naylor now. We just felt it coming. There was just so many set pieces in that 18, almost even 6-yard box. Something unfortunate like that for Port City was bound to happen. Now it's over to Kozak, the goal scorer, the equalizer. Cutting inside is Schmidt. Schmidt crossing it back post. Ajiman there to clear it. Lane there. Caleb Powell. As Lane gets it off Powell, another corner kick for Hickory FC. Corner taken once again by Kozak. The momentum even more favoring the red shirts. As the guests now have a chance to steal the 3 points from the lap of Port City. Asante couldn't get there first. Long range ever. Schmidt kind of bobbled that one. Now on the break, potentially Manisi, as there's Mikloshi chasing it out and decides to boot it away with his right foot to get it out of any danger. Asante and Mbuku. Asante just sat on the ball. Beautiful play there to get it to Lane. Lane still with possession. Mbuku there. Another helping attacker, or defensively, is Stewart. Stewart just booms it, stays in play. Manisi was on sides, maybe. He may have came from behind midfield. Not sure about that one. Smith collided with Bonet there. Manisi back behind the play. So Port City down a player defensively right now. Scrambles as Lane heads it back towards central. Christensen. Manisi is on sides at midfield if Christensen can find him. Manisi, though, is hobbling. And that one to Mikloshi. easily. The idea was there, though, for Port City. As now we've seen more end-to-end stuff than we've seen the whole match so far. And a lot more anticipation from both sets of fans to our left and right. Schmidt plays it back to Robbie Dinghan. Dinghan just chunking it high. Flicked on. Christensen looks to get there before it goes out of play. He does. It's going to be in his possession for the next couple of seconds as we've hit 90 minutes here and UNCW Soccer Stadium. Oh, and a flying Lucas Hazy in there off of Mbuku. Not sure how much added time. We'll see if the center referee gives us a signal. May have missed it already. I would think it would probably be around 4 minutes off a rough guess. There's Sayer, who's just getting it off of his feet. Smith chasing. Souza was running all and around. Cleared away by Mbuku. Smith there, the lone center forward right now. I mean, you see not much movement from his central defensive midfield position now after he picked up a little knock. And he's going to want an ice bath after this one and surely enjoy it. But still a couple of minutes defensively to do for Port City. Kozak, who's salvaged at least a point right now. Souza, excuse me. It's taken away by Ajiman. Minisi to Ajiman. Ajiman sliding challenge by Naylor. The bench not happy over there right by Port City. And it'll be a late substitution for Hickory as Bonet comes off. And replacing him will be another center back. So a like-for-like change there. It's going to be Johan Schrabe. There's Dighan. Just headed it over to Powell. Bryant. Aaron McCloskey gets firm possession of it right there. Matter of a minute or so left now in this game. Kozak. Over to Aguilar. Only a couple bodies in the box for Hickory right now, all on the outside of the 18. Pushed over to Kozak. Kozak now with Dinghan. Dinghan driving inside 3 Port City players there defensively. Mbuku stepping high. Mbuku still pressuring Kozak. Now drops back essentially for the cross that is anticipated. 3-on-3 in the box right now. There's 5 light blues around those 3 though. Asante is there back post. Sliding Christensen. Luckily able to avoid the flying challenge, or it would have been dangerous for him. But Robbie Dinghan over there calling for some assistance to get up. He gets up hobbling. But good to see him get up as well, as that was an interesting collision between the two of them. Naylor tries to collect it. Seconds left now. Must be from the center referee. We'll look to see if he checks his watch. Mbuku heads it back essentially. Asante there first. Minisi checking back. Asante told to play it towards this near side. He does as it gets to Schmidt. Kozak out wide. Schmidt came down with a cramp, it looked like. I mean, he might be all right now. That's cleared out for a throw-in for Hickory. As dwindling down. A big block by Bryant there. As McCloskey has to go and connect with a teammate of Naylor. Smith will back check and wins the ball for a moment. But there's Robbie Dinghan. Rivera was there, knocked Dinghan down. Stepping out wide is Sayer. Oh, he came in flying. Still with Schmidt. Back post potentially. Headed late. Goal! as they find the late winner. And it's the substitute, James Lane, flying in like a kickboxer, bopping to Sabrina Carpenter as he scores the game winner, surely. As the visitors steal the 3 points from Port City as it holds right now. And Hickory will be pleased as they would go to sole possession of second with the win here, and to Port City's dismay, they trail now. Rivera knocked over as Lucas Hazy gets called for the foul there now. Christensen will take this free kick. This has got to be one of the last kicks of the game, you must think. Mad scramble, referee whistling for it to go forward. Christensen on a string. Manisi headed away there by Hickory. Stewart puts it back into the mix. Sayer might have been offsides there, and it's cleared long. Referee not checking the watch as of right now, so Port City will have another look, it seems like. Ajimen flicks it back over. Sayer in there as well. Powell chasing it down. Hickory now with a lot of bodies back. That's comparatively what we've seen. Now they are on the break. 2v2 for Hickory. As Hazy couldn't really get much going. Rivera has Smith pushing forward. 4 players, the biggest players on the pitch for Port City as well. Cleared away right now by the new man of Strobe. And Lane, the magic man, the game winner right now. With possession, Smith. Manisi will pressure as it's just bubbling back and forth. Port City trying to gain something, but there's the final blows of the whistle by the referee as Hickory FC roars back and steals the full 3 points from Port City FC and leaves them in shambles. What a outing though from the Port City FC defensive unit, and the shape and the discipline they showed today, as it was a deep, gutty performance that didn't get rewarded there. But Hickory FC find a way, and all good teams find a way no matter what, in which they did here. But what a game it was. As in the 3rd minute, Port City started the scoring, and it took us 84 minutes before we saw an equalizer, and then Hickory found the game winner. We'll look back at all the goals here now. The first one scored in the 3rd minute of play by Ryan Lee, who came off at halftime. Found a little bit of space, found the bottom corner. A great start there, a penalty off a handball of Manisi. Kozak there with the penalty that tied the game up. Then Lane flying in. Oh no, Ronaldo-esque. Getting up there, and we'll take a look back as well at the handball that led to the equalizing penalty for Hickory. It's going to be Naylor who jumps back post, puts it back into that vicinity. Bonet then has a little touch on it and hits the outstretched arm of Manisi there. Hickory FC coming to thank the fans that have traveled all the way from the mountains. And a big result for them to try and stay in a playoff position. That'll do us here at UNCW Soccer Stadium. For Zachary Buttright here in Wilmington, North Carolina. A beautiful night here as the sea breeze bringing it in. Hickory FC come back from a goal nil down in the 87th minute, courtesy of Kozak and the game winner of James Lane. That's all we have for you today. Be good, stay well, and safe travels if you're traveling anywhere. And most importantly, watch the World Cup, as it's the biggest event going on right now. That's